Hey guys, this is Matt Granger, that Nikon guy. Now I'm back with another D4 video. Obviously this is their new flagship. It's a sports camera, which means that autofocus and tracking and the different autofocus options it offers are going to be really important to people. In fact, any kind of shooting you're doing, one of the reasons that you pay big money for a camera like this is that it should have the very best autofocus capabilities, low light, tracking, all of those sort of things of any of the lineup. And this one certainly has some really impressive features. A couple of things have changed around on this one compared to previous models, so let's go in and have a close-up look on the camera and have a look at some of the different features, including the very interesting face recognition. Okay, now one thing that's obviously changed is instead of having manual autofocus single and continuous switch here, now you just have autofocus or manual. So you only have the two options, but then by holding in this button it activates an autofocus menu where you can make extra changes using the toggle buttons. So holding in this button and then using the rear dial, this one back here, you have the option to change it from single to continuous autofocus. So quite simple, and it shows up in the screen through the viewfinder and on the top LCD. Then rotating this front one rotates the number of focus points you're on. So you've got 21, 9, 5, auto, 3D or 51, which is really great. Now taking a look on the back, there's the interesting new face detection feature. Okay, so this one has the dual live view wheel for video and photo. Put it on photo, click live view on, and then you've got the shot of the boring fence that I'm facing. But you can see holding down this button on the side gives you this selection on what you're actually going to be focusing on. Now using the front one, you go through a bunch of different options, and this one is face detect. Now it will only actually show you the faces on the screen when you're in live view. When you're looking through the viewfinder, you don't have the option of selecting this face mode, and it doesn't actually show you the faces, but it is still aware of them. Let me just jump in front of it and let's hope that it can detect that I'm a human. Yeah, baby, blue steel. So it could even pick me up as being some variant of human, and the impressive thing, it will actually track 35 different faces all in the scene at once, and it focuses on the closest one. Then if you're in program mode, it'll make, try and give you a depth of field to capture all the faces that are in the shot. Now, whilst it doesn't show you it when you're shooting through the viewfinder, any faces, it does actually still recognize faces, and you can tell that because in playback, let me show you a couple. So here's some boring shots that I got on the train just to demonstrate this to you. There's two people there. I was focused somewhere in the shot. I wasn't using any special detection mode though, but when you zoom in this little corner, it actually shows you if it's captured any faces. So let's get in really close on the screen so you can see that. Okay, so here we are right in that little corner of the screen, and look what happens when we zoom in. You see, it comes up and let's just get that a bit closer, there we go. And that's as I'm zooming further and further in, but it's showing you here that it has actually found two faces in the shot. So I was using a single focus point, which is denoted on the screen. I don't think you can see it there, just there. But still, even though I wasn't telling the camera to, it has recognized that there was two faces in the shot. And it's really, really clever. Let me show you a few more examples. So here we are with a couple up close, and it's got, the woman and the child. Here's a group shot where it got 4 out of the 5 people. The fifth one, a lot of his face was covered in shadows, but it got 4 out of the 5, and keeping in mind that I wasn't actually telling it to track them. Here's a shot that I badly underexposed, but still it got this kid's face despite wearing a hat and being quite small in the overall scene of the shot. Now, this one was trickier. You can see, again, it's quite dark, and here the girl, part of her face is being covered by the dress, but as we zoom in, you can see it's still got her face there in the corner, no problem. And something that is quite rare in my experience is to be able to actually capture profile of faces too. But take a look at this one, and you can see this profile of two women in vintage clothing. it got their face side on. That's really something. To be able to detect a face, you know, when you've got hair and neck and body and eyes to work with, but when you've just got side of nose, one eye and the mouth, to still get both faces, that's really impressive. And last but not least, here's a shot that was strongly backlit. So I was, you know, overexposing it by, how much am I there? One full stop, probably a little bit much to be honest. And you can see there's a few different faces in there. How many of those do you think it would get? They're staggered a couple of feet apart from each other, going backward and forward. You can see it's really blown out on the highlights there on the histogram. Different hats, then no hat and really blonde hair that's almost washing in with the background. Let's see how it's done. So having a look at it in close, let's zoom in, and 1, 2, 3, 4. It got all of them except it's joined these two as one person. It seems it got the woman in the back wearing the hat, but not the closest face. So it got 4 out of the 5 there, which I think is still pretty impressive. Now, why this is useful is if you are shooting, you know, people and you want it to, you know, the face is by far the most important thing to you, you can, you know, have the camera taking that into account when it's making its autofocus if you're not using a single focus point. So that's quite handy, I think. It could be quite handy depending on how you shoot. Okay guys, so definitely some improvements there. I'll be coming up with some videos in the future tracking some fast moving objects to show you how it tracks. I've done a little bit of experimentation with some kids running around and stuff today. Not super fast moving, but it got them and held on to them throughout the scene as they ran around the park exceptionally well. So I think it shows So it definitely shows great potential for sports shooters who are tracking erratically moving subjects. Thanks for watching guys. Click to subscribe, click to like if you have, and check out the playlist. Loads of D4 and D800 videos coming, and I'm still looking to name this one. So any more suggestions, throw them below. See you soon guys. This is Matt Granger, that Nikon guy.